Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Music and Movie Mondays. Now today we got another classic on here. We got Dead Presidents. Now you can say this is an all-star lineup. Now you see we got the star right over here. We got Larenz Tate. Now mind you, this came out in 1995. That man still look the same right now. I guess you could say he drinking the same water for real drinking. Right next to Larenz is your boy Keith David. Now, of course, y'all recognize him from a lot of movies and a lot of classics, but I don't really think y'all realize the work that man don't put in. He was in cartoons also. Any cartoon you can think of that got a deep voice and just sound evil, that's him right over there. Now, you got your boy Chris Tucker right next to him. Now, Chris Tucker was killing the 90s. I wish he was still doing movies right now. And he ain't in this picture, but your boy Bokeem Woodbine was in this movie also. I hope I'm saying it right. And this Bokeem right over here, if y'all don't know who I'm talking about, he was in a bunch of classics in the 90s. He was putting it down for all the bald head brothers out there. What made this movie so special, that soundtrack alone was a classic. You're going to be sitting up there watching this movie, and you eventually going to be like, man, hold up, what was that was just playing? Or you're going to be like, man, I ain't heard this song in a minute. After that movie over with, you're going to either try to stream them songs, or you're going to try to add it to a playlist or something. I promise you. And remind y'all, around this time, like the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, every time they dropped a movie, especially if the movie was big too, they always had a soundtrack to go along with it. And you know it was something serious because they would try to put unknown artists on some of these soundtracks just to get their name out there, because these soundtracks back then was going gold, platinum, multi-platinum. You know they was doing numbers. And the thing is also, I want some of these streaming services to start adding more of these soundtracks, because they only got like a few soundtracks here and there that's up for listening, but I want them to start adding all the soundtracks, because the thing is though, these soundtracks were actually good also. It wasn't just, I'm just put this song on here, that song, and it is what it is. I just want the movie to sell. Nah, these soundtracks was actually good too. I want to see Space Jam on there. I want to see this one on here, and a bunch more. I ain't gonna sit up there and keep going in for that. Shout out to boy Chris Tucker. This movie took place in the 60s and the 70s, but the way that man was doing his thing in this movie, it just seemed so natural. You would have thought he was from the 60s and the 70s for real anyway. And what really had me was when he came back home from the war, and he up there talking about something got in my blood cells. Boy, you had AIDS. What you talking about? And he played a good heroin addict too. I seen the hurt on Larenz Tate's character's face when he came back home from that war, and he seen his boy was on that stuff. I was surprised he didn't get a punch to the gut, because you already know how the black community do. Anytime they find out you on that stuff, you either about to get cussed out, or you about to get your behind whooped, or sometimes you going to get both. Now, you got a lot of folks out here that be sitting up there watching movies and like to say little silly stuff like, I be rooting for the bad guys, just so they can sound cool. Now, me personally, I don't necessarily say that I root for the bad guys. I just be rooting for the person that's trying to get theirs, legally or illegally. Like your boy Anthony, Larenz Tate's character. Now, one thing that I can agree on that made us all mad watching this movie is the fact that when they robbed that Brinks truck or whatever, yes, they were successful. Now, unfortunately, 2 people died. They informed each other, and when they had that little powwow, like, hey, listen, don't be spending all this money at once, drawing attention to yourself, all right? And everybody agreed and acted like they understood. But your boy Cleon, Bokeem Woodbine's character, messed it up for everybody. He was out there handing out 20s, talking about some God gave it to him and stuff like that. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he bought himself a Cadillac or something. You already know how that go once you become a pastor. And it's crazy because, you know, he was a little wild hooligan out there when he was out there in that war, chopping people's heads off and stuff like that. Now he done came home and became a pastor. But the thing is, what he did ended up getting them busted. And you already knew what time it was when he got busted, because at that point, he was a changed man, and he really wasn't built for that life. So you know what time it was. And if one thing this movie taught me, and really, this movie ain't teach me that, because I already knew this from get-go. You know, that's common sense. You can't do crime with everybody. The thing is, it is common sense. When you look at certain people, if you about to be doing dirt or just doing anything, there's certain folks you can tell like, nah, I can't do that with him, because I feel like if we get busted, he definitely gonna run his mouth and say all our names. He gonna be singing like a mockingbird. I don't even want to do it because I'm end up beating him up or whatever. You feel me? Or this person right over here, because it be the hardest people sometimes that you swear up and down, man. This man tough and he know what he talking about, or he know what he doing, and he'll turn around and snitch on you, or he'll just turn around and just mess it up for you and everybody else around you just because he just reckless with it. You feel me? It's just certain people that you just know you can't do crime with or just do dirt with in general. All right? So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to do dirt, use your common sense. Because the thing is, too, some people you just can't tell. You ain't going to learn until later on down the line after, you know, the consequences happen with whatever incident or whatever dirt that you did do. Now, for Keith David's character, Kirby, I don't know what he thought he had going on at the end when they was in his establishment, and he got the nerve to tell Anthony to run and pick that pool stick up and start swinging at them cops. I don't know what you think you got going on, but my boy, you going to jail. So one thing I like is the fact that we was able to go on a journey with your boy Anthony, Larenz Tate's character, and he was still in high school when the movie first started. I like seeing movies when they show you in high school because, you know, it just brings back so many memories for me. And, you know, he graduated, and that boy got some of that good old juicy, hairy, wet cat for the first time with his girl Juanita. And it's crazy because she got pregnant off of that one session alone right there. I know it only takes one time. But the thing is, though, ladies and gentlemen, imagine just that one time you done did something with somebody like that, and now y'all got a baby together. Or imagine this. The little bust you get at the end wasn't even all that good, and y'all still end up having a baby together. I don't know about you, but I'd be highly, highly upset. Now, in the beginning of the movie, that boy was still timid, and he ain't really growing to his skin like that. They even had a scene where he was getting beat up and got punked by Terrence Howard's character. Yes, your boy Terrence Howard is in here. Like I said, it's an all-star lineup. It's a bunch of people in here that I'm going to tell y'all at the end of this video. But as he went into the war and came back home from the war, oh, he became a whole different person. You ain't just about to run up on him like that. That boy know karate moves, all type of moves from the army and stuff like that. Oh, he ain't about to go down easily now. Try that mess if you want to now. It ain't about to go the way you think it's going to go. Now, Anthony, I'm trying to talk to you right now because I'm really trying to figure something out. At the end of the movie, the judge gave Anthony 15 to life. Anthony heard 15 to life. Something clicked in his head and had the nerve to throw a chair at the judge. Now, I understand you're angry, but what I'm trying to figure out is, I don't know what you thought was about to happen, but what did you think was about to happen? Because I understand, yeah, you try to use your military pass and the judge won't go on for it. But once you realize I'm about to get 15 to life, you had the nerve to mention it again, right? And my thing is, what was that about to do? Because not only did you sit up there and rob a money truck, but 2 of your friends died. On top of that, you murdered a bunch of cops and security guards and stuff like that. This was a deadly scene. And this is why I don't talk to too many of us now, because we sit up there and do mess like this all the time. We'll sit up there and be like, hey, free that man, free this man, free that man, or whatever. Knowing darn well he sat up there and done killed this person or done did this crime right over here. I've been saying this for like the last 20 years. It never made sense to me at all. But, hey, we still do it anyway. So, check this movie out if you haven't yet. Shame on you if you haven't, because these one of them movies you should have watched if you was black. Especially like if you was a child growing up or whatever. But you can redeem yourself if you watch it now. Because the thing is, we ain't gonna know unless you done told us or we start talking about it and you just act like you don't know nothing that we talking about for real, for real. But other than that though, like I told y'all before in the beginning, it's an all-star lineup. I also mentioned Terrence Howard is in there. Clifton Powell, the nephew from Sopranos, you know, Tony Soprano's nephew, he was in here too. Ambush Wright, she played in Blade, Fresh, a bunch of movies. She was doing her thing in the 90s too. But other than that though, man, y'all tell me what y'all thought about this movie in the comments, and y'all be blessed out there.